Unconventional machining process. This subject is very, very important, useful for the industrial purpose. Unconventional machining process is the further 5 topics of classification. One is introduction and mechanical based processes. Second, thermal based process. The third, chemical and advanced nano finishing process. The last one, recent trends in non-traditional machining process. Conventional machining process. Metal is removed by using some sort of tool which is harder than the workpiece and it is subjected to wear. Tool and workpiece are in direct contact. Demerits of conventional machining process. In conventional machining, metal is removed by chip formation, which is expensive and a difficult process. Second point, chips produced during this process are unwanted byproducts. Removal of these chips and their disposal and recycling is a very tedious procedure involving energy and money. The fourth one, very large cutting forces are involved in this process, so proper holding of the workpiece is most important. Due to the large cutting forces, the large amount of heat generated between the tool and the workpiece interface, undesirable deformation and residual stresses are developed in the workpiece. Unconventional machining process. These are non-traditional machining process, otherwise unconventional machining process. Another one, unconventional forming process. Unconventional machining process. This process, there is no direct physical contact between the tool and the workpiece. Therefore, the tool material need not be harder than the workpiece material as in a conventional machining. Unconventional machining, unconventional forming process. Conventional forming process is the metal or formed through the release and application of large amount of energy in a very short time interval. Traditional or conventional machining process, the classification 2, the cutting and mechanical abrasive. One part, cutting the remove the metal from the cutting operation. Another one is a abrasive operations. The circular shape, various shapes, bonded abrasives and loose abrasives. The cutting, remove the metal from the cutting stage. There are circular shape and various shapes. Circular shapes nothing but turning, boring, and drilling. These are the metal removal process here. Circular shapes and various shapes: milling, planing, shaping, broaching, sawing, filing, gear forming, gear generating. These are also the various shapes. All the shapes remove the metal from the workpiece. Another abrasive method is nothing but bonded abrasives and loose abrasives. Bonded abrasives is nothing but grinding, honing and coated abrasives called a bonded abrasive. Loose abrasive, polishing, buffing. These are the loose abrasive. Metal cutting process. They show the diagram, the line diagram for the metal cutting process. The different stages metal remove the workpiece. So the first A1 is a form cutting, shaping, the feed. Another one is a generation cutting, is a turning process. This is a step turning. One of the step turning is also the turning process. And form cutting, shaping is a the gear cut, is also the forming shape. Another one is a form and a generator cutting and the form and also general cutting machines are both combined for the forming and general cutting process. The third one. Abrasive machining is nothing but is a grinding wheel. One side a grinding wheel, another one is a the both grinding used for the both grinding wheels. This type of metal removal process is a the two sides are the support. The one is a center support, the two support in between the workpiece. The in between the workpiece, the both sides are the grinding wheels and the touch the workpiece and remove the metal from the small quantity of metal they remove from the workpieces. Another one is a flat surface grinding. This first one is the grinding is a rotated. The flat surface grinding is as the flat surface remove the metal from the flat surfaces of the lathe or anyone using the anyone machines. Abrasive machine. Let's see the diagram for the A bonded abrasive superimposition. This is one of workpiece and low pressure of the honing sticks. And then the bottom side the loose abrasive buffing and then this is rotating. It's a fabric wheel and the buffing base. So the different types of abrasive machines from the diagrams. Need for unconventional machining. Greatly improved thermal, mechanical and chemical properties of modern materials. Not able to machine through conventional methods. While ceramics and the composites, high cost of machining and damage caused during machining, big hurdles to use these materials. In addition to advanced materials, more complex shapes, low rigidity structures, and the micro machined components with a tight tolerance and a fine surface finish are often needed. To meet these demands, new processes are developed, play a considerable role in aircraft, automobile, tool, die, and mold making industries. Very high hardened and strength of materials, above 400 kgb. The workpiece is too flexible or a slender to support the cutting or grinding forces. The shape of part is complex, such as internal and external profiles or small diameter holes. Surface finish or tolerances between than those obtainable conventional process. Temperature, rise or residual stresses the work pieces are undesirable.